Alright, let's do a quick update on Solana. So in the past 2 days, you can see that we have finally broken out of this red trend line. If we zoom back, you can see that this dates all the way back to the all-time high on the 5th of November. Now, the number one thing that I kind of want to relay in this video is, we are above this trend line. We have had 2 days above it, but if we look here, we had 1, 2, 3, almost 4 days above this trend line here, and it was a fake out. We had 1 day here and it was a fake out. If we come back here, we even spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, over a week outside of this this thing here, and then we had another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days before breaking down. Over here as well, you can see that we had 3 days above it, or basically 2 full days, and the third candle, and obviously at the top of this trend line, which we won't really count because this is kind of where it starts. So the number one thing to take away is that we have broken out of here before, and we have come straight back into the channel. So I wouldn't be getting out of bed just because we have broken out, but it is a start. One bullish thing to look at is that we do have a nice W pattern right here. You can see that we do have a higher low here, so if we did come back to the top of this channel, or the middle of this W, we would be breaking fully out of this channel. We would have confirmed the breakout, and also 112 is the most important level that we need to keep our eyes on, in my opinion. If we do zoom out, I've even got it highlighted as the 618 support. You can see that this is our macro 618 support for Solana. This is the number one level that we need to be above, in my opinion, for us to remain bullish. We are currently below it. I have mentioned, basically in the past week of videos, I have been saying we need to strongly get above 112 before I become bullish on Solana. While we are below 112, I won't be accumulating any more Solana, but I said I'd be laddering in my buys if we did manage to get down to 72, and I also said I would be laddering in, I would be basically FOMOing in at $55, just because I do believe that Solana is a very good steal for $55. Even if we do continue dropping further from there, I would just continue to buy in more and more. So what I want you to take away from this video is 112. We do need to have at least, I'd say, a weekly close above 112. If we do kind of flatten this data as well, you can see that we are just about poking our heads over the top of this trend line. But do bear in mind, we have done this here, and we did this quite extremely on the daily candles over here on the 29th. So market structure really hasn't changed. We are still in this big downtrend. Solana does like doing these big fake outs, but all in all, we do have a nice W pattern. We have broken out of this trend line, so we just need to see what happens in the next few days. If we do get above 112, bounce off it and close a weekly candle above 112, then I would be starting to reaccumulate Solana again. Now, if we do look at the volume, there's still really no volume coming into this market, which kind of is a little bit iffy, but we have only just broken out of 1 day. I think if we do something like this, have a nice back test, which technically we've already done on this wick, so I'd prefer to see like a candle body retest, maybe close the day around about 98 and then have a strong pump. At that point, I would expect that more volume would start coming into the market, and we could be more sure of the direction that it's going. So if we finish off with the RSI before heading over to the BTC pair, you can see that the RSI is in a fairly decent uptrend. So we still could do something like this and then head off to the races. So that would be something like a retest and then heading back up. But all in all, the RSI is heading up. Not really any volume stepping in, so I did want to see some more volume stepping in, and especially breaking above the 112. The RSI may have double bottomed around here. You can see that we put in a bottom on the week. This is on the weekly. We put in a weekly bottom on the RSI on the 21st of December. We've made like a nice tiny little kind of like a W pattern, and it looks like we may be starting to head up for that. So that is fairly bullish on the weekly. Similarly to the daily though, there is basically no volume coming in for Solana right now, so Do keep an eye on that. We are obviously below the 200-day moving average and the 618, which is at 112. These are the most important things I believe we need to get above to see bullish continuation. If we head over to the monthly as well, you know, we're finally starting to see a bit of green monthly volume coming in, which is good. And if we look on the weekly for Solana and swap over to the Heikin-Ashi candles, another slight cause for concern is, you know, that we really haven't broken this downtrend, especially in the Heikin-Ashi candles. This is, you know, very, very characterizing that we're still in a downtrend, so I wouldn't personally be getting out of bed until, you know, like I said, we get a strong move above 112 with some volume coming in. So that is all for the USD pair. If we head over to the BTC pair, I'll keep the same theme of the Heikin-Ashis, just because these, you know, these do characterize uptrends and downtrends very well. You can still see that we are in a solid downtrend on the weekly. We are below the 200-day moving average, but most importantly, we are above the 618. So this is the #1 region that we want to be above. You can see if I move this up a little bit, I believe this was the 618, but on the Heikin-Ashis, on the Japanese candlestick, sorry. So this is the 618 for the Heikin-Ashis. You can see that, you know, we still could be, I mean, we only really have a tiny bit to go. So we've already back tested this twice now. If we did do it one more time, we only have a 2% dump to go. But if we did lose this this region here round about 2205, then, you know, it could get very, very ugly for Solana against Bitcoin, which would be quite indicative that we are continuing this downtrend and maybe even doing something like this, which is why I said I have my eye on 55, where the 1.618 is. So yeah, that's basically all I see for Solana right now. Remember, none of this is financial advice. It is just my opinion on the market, and you should always do what's best for you. Peace.